Well, it's likely the last thing he expected while out campaigning for political office. Libertarian gubernatorial candidate Chris Holbrook was arrested last Thursday while in a public park. Holbrook, who's running in the state of Minnesota, had been gathering the signatures needed to appear on the ballot until police insisted that he needed a permit to do so and arrested him. Joining me to break down exactly what happened is the candidate himself, Chris Holbrook. Chris, thanks so much for joining me.
Sure thing, Amira. Thank you.
So tell us what happened. Walk us through the incident.
Well, in Minnesota, to get on the ballot, as a minor party, we need to gather 2,000 signatures per candidate within a 2-week window between May 20th and June 3rd. We need to get those petitions from the public in public spaces. We had been petitioning at Lake Calhoun in Minneapolis all week. It's a public park. On Thursday, I met 4 volunteers there to start doing the same. We were at the back of Andy's car sorting out literature onto clipboards when 4 patrol officers came up as we were at his car and approached us and asked us what we were doing. All these videos are on Chris Holbrook for Governor Facebook page. Then they said we could not be there doing that we were selling and marketing. We know our rights. Being libertarians, we're well versed in them. They called in reinforcements, another police officer, a senior level park police officer, who then came over, and that's the video that's been circulated the most. He came over and basically we had a discussion, him and I, in which he said I couldn't be there. I asked him what law I was breaking. He could not tell me. He demanded my ID, which I did not give him. I do not have to provide ID if I'm not breaking the law. I started filming this, of course, because we're being harassed by the police. He said I could not film him, which I know I have the right to do per the Supreme Court. And then it turned into basically a scuffle where he seized me, grabbed my wrist, twisted it behind my back, cuffed me so violently I couldn't feel any circulation. I was screaming, as you see in the last video, "You're breaking my wrist, you're breaking my wrist." It started bleeding. The cuffs were cutting in so tight. He shoved me in a squad car. I asked him why he was putting me in the car. He didn't say, and just shoved me in, where he held me for 20 minutes against my will, asking me questions, to which I said, if I'm being charged with something, I'd like to know what it is. If not, you need to release me. I'm plead my fifth if I'm being charged, and I will call an attorney.
That's incredible, Chris.
It is incredible. He gave me a citation basically for selling in a public space without a permit. Non-commercial activity is exempt from this, and we have to, it's hard enough the way it is already. We have to go to the public square to get our message out there and get signatures. So that's what happened.
Absolutely. I want to ask you, how has this affected your campaign? Are you worried about the perception at all of people that may now Google you and see that you were arrested and not quite know the whole story, understand that it was a mistaken arrest?
That's a really good question. It's embarrassing. The first thing my mom saw it on the news, she called me. She's like, "Chris, did you really get arrested?" I said, "Yes, Mom, but I wasn't breaking any law." And that's where the validation comes in. Knowing that I was in the right, the police officer didn't even know the law. He just used brute force. For whatever reason, I'm not going to make assumptions, allegations. I don't know his intent. All I know is he broke the law. He didn't understand it. He used force against me in a violent arrest. The perception actually, the fallout has been positive. I've had a lot of support from all over the state, all over the country. Our petition drive ended today. We had to submit our signatures, which we did about an hour ago, and we got about double what we needed to get. So it's actually turned out to be a silver lining.
In the end. All right, Minnesota candidate for governor, Libertarian Chris Holbrook, thank you so much for coming on and talking about that experience.